The most unlikely of premiership defences resumed today, with Richmond among the teams that were back in action. And the Chief Executive of the Tigers at Punt Road, Brendan Gale, joins us. Brendan, as we welcome you in, are we in for a fair season, and does it really even matter at this point?
Oh, look, it's look, I've always been a big believer in fixture equity. So I guess one of the advantages is we're going to be playing each team once. So in that respect, it's going to be fair and more equitable than previous years. But most importantly, we're going to get a season underway, and we're really hopeful with all the measures we've put in place, we're going to complete it. And we're all going to make some sacrifices, and we're all going to pay a bit of a price. But I think the overriding goal is when they get the season underway, and it's very, very exciting.
So, Brendan, Richmond are now a powerhouse club, and there's been a lot of talk about culture has come at a price and some very good people at the club. Is it correct that you've had to make some tough decisions already? Is it correct that you actually submitted to the AFL that the senior coach was not a part of the football department soft cap going forward this year to make it easier to get more people in?
No, that's not true, Caro. I'm not sure where that come from. But, look, we've had to make some hard calls, as have all the clubs all around the country. These are unprecedented times, significant challenges, and we've had to respond in the best way we could. But I don't think we're at any great disadvantage. I think the things that have really served us well will continue to serve us well. We've got a great team of coaches. I think our players are well-drilled, well-coached. They're very experienced now. They've been through a lot. They've got a game plan that stands up. And we do have a strong culture. And I think that'll see us through. And I believe we're really well placed to come out of this and through the other side.
You are down on numbers, though. So Blair Hartley, one of your heads of football, can't be at the club. And Neil Baum, obviously, is not at the club at the moment. I know he's outside footy at the moment. How tough has it been for you to lead and tell these people who I'm sure would have loved to have been there today that it's a different football club now?
Oh, look, it's been really hard, but as it's been hard for everyone. But I think, I think that we've been very open and transparent. We've been really open with the gravity of the challenges that we're facing. And I think when you provide people with as much information as you can and context and trying to give them as much ownership as they can over the process, it makes things a little easier. But we've got clearly a cap on numbers that can be in the football department right now at the moment, and we're really focusing on the ones who are really hands-on, I guess, driving the program and day to day. And Blair Hartley, Neil Baum, they deliver enormous value to our football club in a whole range of different ways, and will continue to do so.
Brendan, what aspects of footy have changed forever and will never return, you think, with what's gone on over the past 6 or 7 weeks? I just think, I'm not sure if things will change forever, but I think the thing that has really become even more important is the importance of culture and people and working together and I guess focusing on the things you can control. The fitter, faster, stronger, the physical aspects of the game, they'll always be very important. In fact, they're probably non-negotiable. But I think, those programs, those players, those coaches who can stay at the moment, who can retain that sense of laser-like focus when there's seemingly pandemonium going on around them, that's going to be increasingly valuable going forward. And I think there'll be a lot more emphasis put on that and, obviously the mental side of the game.
Your recruiting's been so strong. Have you had to put that on the back burner, or are you still talking to players that you'd like to be wearing Richmond colours next year?
Oh, look, I think we've fair to say it's probably on the back burner for the time being. I mean, such as the urgent, critical nature of the issues we're dealing with. I mean, I guess the first week or two, this is, really a battle for survival to start with. As things unfolded and things settled, we wanted to make sure we come out of this, address the challenges and come out and thrive. But it's trying to get our club through to the other side of this without taking on too much water. And I think that's been the experience for all clubs. Now that resume training and hopefully resume playing soon, and when the AFL provides some clarity around pathways and second-year football, I think that'll sort of ramp up.
We're watching you train today. It was great to see the Tigers back in action. I wanted to touch on the integrity of the competition just briefly again. The news today that teams will have to fly on the day of games for interstate games, which clearly poses some significant challenge on longer trips. How big an effect do you think that will have on travelling teams? And do you think it's just natural now that teams that are playing at home will have a more significant advantage?
Oh, look, I think it's going to have an impact. But I think there's going to be trade-offs and sacrifices. It's going to be one of those seasons. There's going to be compromises all through it. I think that's the price we have to pay to get the season underway and completed. And I think that's, we've got to focus on the things we can control. We've got to stay disciplined, and things that aren't out of control, you can't sweat the small stuff. So that's going to take real discipline, and that'll be the battleground for this year. The team who can stay the most disciplined and focused will give themselves every chance. So, like I said before, there's going to be swings and roundabouts, and that's just going to be characteristic of this year.
But if you were still running the AFL Players Association, would you have an issue with sending 4 teams up to Queensland and live in hotel rooms, not allowed to play golf when they're staying on a golf resort, not allowed to surf, really difficult to have their families there? Would that be sweating the small stuff, or would that be something worth fighting for, do you think, in your old role?
You probably have an issue because that's your job. I mean, you're meant to represent and advocate on behalf of your players. But I'm sure, Paul, the leadership have done that now. I'm sure they've, true to form, they would have got a good hearing from Gil and the AFL. Whether they get the outcome they're looking for, I don't know. But I think it's one of those years where I think for the greater good, and that is getting your season underway and getting a sense of normality back into the AFL, and also for the community, I think there's a real need for football and for sport to resume. I think there's going to have to be prices and trade-offs and sacrifices, some greater than others, but that's just going to be the nature of this year.
You played in 2 of the last 3, with it being really a made-for-TV sport this year. Do you think the night grand final is inevitable, and do you think we would ever go back to a day grand final if that happened?
Look, I don't know. The short answer is that I don't know. What I will say is I think it's one of those, you never waste a crisis. And, we've had a really, really tough year, and it's going to be a real grind. It's going to be a battle of attrition. But I think there's a way to look at things differently, and we've got a blank canvas. We can try a few different things. And with a twilight grand final, a night grand final is in the mix. I think it's probably something worth looking for in the context of this year. Does that mean we continue it or never go? I don't know, but I think it gives us an opportunity, a platform to sort of look at things differently.
Sorry, Brendan, has this period caused Alex Rance to have a rethink? Have you been in contact, and has he completely shut the door?
No, that train's left the station, Kane. I think no, we were pretty clear about that. Adam's a fairly headstrong individual with evangelical self-belief, and despite, I guess, media speculation, our view was once he checked out, he checked out. It'd be lovely, wouldn't it, to have Alex Rance here running around? But no, we've got some good young players who could step up and hopefully fill those large shoes.
Brendan, we'll let you go. We know you've been busy at home working. Surely as a modern-day CEO, you've got a cool backdrop or something for us on your Microsoft. There we go. Magnificent.
That seemed a bit too preempted, Hutch, but no, we the beneficiaries, incredible support of our partners during this time, and Jeep and NIB and Host Plus and Swinburne, they've been absolutely terrific and will continue to be so.
There you
Shameful.
go. Very, very, very clever. Well done, Brendan Gale, the CEO. Good luck for the season ahead, Brendan, joining us tonight on Footy Classified.